This is a brief recap of the on-air clash between Rufai Oseni of Arise Television and Mr. Dave Umahi, the Minister of Works, on 7th October 2025 during an interview on Arise Television's program, that is the morning show, presented by Rufai Oseni. There was a kind of altercation between himself and Engineer Dave Umahi, that's the Minister of Works. Indeed, it was a visibly heated exchange. The friction began when Oseni pressed Umahi on the cost and transparency of the federal government's flagship project, that is the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Oseni also raised a point about Umahi's use of the title Professor of Engineering. So you're asking him when and by which institution the title was conferred. The minister, that is Dave Umahi, responded sharply by declaring that you are too small for me to report to the president. Stop saying I reported you to the president. You are too small, and so on. And you usually say, keep quiet and stop saying what you don't know. I'm a professor in this field. You don't understand anything. Those were the words from the honorable minister. However, Oseni stuck to his grounds and saying, Minister, it is right. It is all right. Keep dignifying yourself and let the world know who you truly are. Let us watch the video of what transpired between them, because we have the video clip here.
Anyway, I am not beholden to you. My job is accountability.
You are too small for me to report you to the president.
No, but they are empirical.
You are too small
Minister,
for me to
Minister,
report you to the
Minister, let me
president.
speak. Minister, let me speak. I have empirical evidence. The world watched it on the commission of the project when you mentioned the questions I asked you to the president. That was reporting me to the president officially. The world watches, so you don't need to dilly-dally about the empirical facts. I don't talk without facts, Minister. You know, when I have my facts, I talk. And I insist on my question when I ask on cost.
Let me only address you.
Minister, you will not allow me speak. The problem is you will not allow me speak. You spoke for over 20 minutes, over 10 minutes.
Because you don't know what you are speaking.
But let me speak. Let me speak. You will not. You will not allow me speak. You see, if you can just keep quiet and be calm and just allow me speak, I'll be happy. All right. So my question still persists as regards the cost per kilometer. You cannot tell me that we don't have a right to know the cost per kilometer. Even if it's an undulating landscape, give us all the facts and the details of the cost per kilometer. That's all we'll ask for. Other questions as regards the loans taken. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Listen to me.
Minister, you will not allow me to speak. The minister will not allow me to speak.
No. Don't do that with me.
Minister will not allow me to speak.
I was in your studio.
Minister will not allow me to speak.
And when the first section was on, and I ran the figures. And what you're asking us is 750 kilometers of coastal highway. We should tell you cost per kilometer. So you multiply by 750. That's nonsensical.
No, so tell me the cost per kilometer. There's nothing too hard for you to tell me that figure. You've not still told me that figure. So I was right on that point. The second point...
Because you don't understand anything.
The second point I'm trying to make is...
You don't understand anything. I'm a professor in this field.
Okay.
You don't understand anything.
What university gave you professorship in this field?
You cannot ask me to tell you a cost.
What university gave you professorship in engineering? I didn't know you were Professor Umahi, Minister. I didn't know. So... Please,
I'm professor in practice.
In practice.
I'm professor in practice. Okay. I understand engineering very well.
So secondly,
and you have no knowledge of what you're asking.
If you will let me...
You have no knowledge.
If you will let me ask
questions. So you keep quiet.
Okay.
And then stop,
you know... Minister, it's all right. Keep dignifying yourself and let the world see you for who you are. If you allow me speak, the other 100 kilometers that you said they've added to it, we would like to know the cost per kilometer of that one. And the Winsome Homes, the case is in court. Now, I would like to know the cost per kilometer for that one. I would like to also know the over 700 billion first tranche of loan you guys got for this project. Has the money been spent? How was the money deployed? I would also like to know. I would also like to know the terms of that loan. All right? How many years? What's the payback period? What's the payback moratorium of that loan? And for the Winsome homes, isn't it interesting that as somebody that's been a governor in the state, you know the law, a case is in court, and then you're coming to talk about the details of the cases in court. Because you denied that the case was not in court. Now you've already accepted that the case is in court. So is it not just better you thrash it out with the woman that has been reporting a case in public that we all heard, and I ask you questions based on that? So, Minister, just answer the questions. I've got no axe to grind with you. You know that. We've spoken many times. In fact, when your people call to book, I booked them, and I said you should come on air. So please just tell us those information. It's very important, Minister.
I'm not hearing, even though this guy is.
Shortly afterwards, a group of youth in Ebonyi State staged a protest demanding a public apology from Oseni, accusing him of unprofessional conduct toward the minister, that is Engineer Dave Umahi. But what's at stake here? And that is accountability and infrastructure oversight. That is the main thing. At its heart, the clash reflects two important themes, which are the public official accountability and media scrutiny of major infrastructure projects in the country. The Coastal Highway is a multi-billion naira venture. The transformation that such a project promises comes hand in hand with legitimate questions around cost per kilometer, procurement, displacement of communities, environmental impact, and long-term value for money, because such project cannot just be overlooked. Oseni's line of questioning, though provocative, taps into the public interest. The public will want to know how much is being spent and what returns are expected from such huge project. At this point, it is pertinent to reflect media conduct and journalist official relationships. On the other side, the incident spotlights the relationship between the press and senior officials. Journalists are expected to probe, challenge, and clarify. But there's also an expectation of decorum, fairness, and balance. When live on air exchanges escalate into personal reproach or dissension, they raise questions about professional standards on both sides of the mic, both the presenter and the guest. While several commentators have supported Oseni's robust stance, a balanced critique of this conduct points to a few areas of concern. And what are those concerns that we need to look into? Personally, I will point out the following observations as far as that clip, that video is concerned. One, tone and respect. Although challenging public officials is integral to journalism, the tone adopted by Oseni could be seen as confrontational rather than curious. It is free to be curious about perception. The interception of "you are too small" by the minister also underscores how the interaction crossed from critique to personal provocation. Professional interviewers usually avoid framing questions in ways that would invite attacks on personality rather than the substantive issues. And then the preparation and accuracy. Oseni questioned the minister on when his engineering professorship was obtained. It simply means that he questions the minister's credentials, which may not be right. However, it came as a result of the fact that the minister claimed his professorship was experiential and not academic. While the question itself is valid, its framing might suggest an underlying assumption or insinuation that the minister was incompetent. Better delineation or clarification, like, please, show the year you obtained professor title, or please clarify your use of the title, might have reduced the escalation, but it wasn't done. Then provoking rather than encouraging explanation. The clip, from what we saw, the clip shows both men raising voices, speaking over each other. In such moments, the interviewer's role often shift from questioner to mediator, and should regain composure to steer the conversation back to substance. That's exactly what was expected of Oseni. But Oseni continued to press personally, which may have undermined the flow of information about the coastal highway and diverted attention into the conflict itself rather than the issues on ground. Now, the public perception. What is the public perception about the whole thing? And a professional reputation as a public-facing journalist. Oseni's brand includes his reputation. We know him for that reputation for tough questioning. But when that tough style crosses into perceived disrespect, it can backfire. And that is what has happened, as seen in a protest by youth in Ebonyi State demanding his apology. Let us watch a clip from that protest also on our way back soon.
Arise TV and Rufai Oseni must apologize now, and ABC and BOA must act against media misconduct. The group leader Damian Ono expressed disappointment over Umahi's treatment on live television, saying Oseni's misconduct was not only disrespectful but also amounted to media ambush.
That young man, Rufai Oseni, had the effrontery in his nerve, the stimulating force, the guts to ask Umahi to keep quiet. Who gave him the told him to keep quiet in the face of the whole world? As if that was not enough, he accused him of reporting him to Mr. President. Who is Rufai, for God's sake? For them, with all the time he's spending from state to state, from local government to local government, all the nooks and crannies of this nation, making sure that those are done according to stipulation. So you will have time to go and be discussing small Rufai with Mr. President. As if that was not enough, let me understand that. We are gathered here to make a demand. A demand, firstly, that Rufai Oseni of Arise Television and Arise Television as an organization, they are given 24 hours to tender non-reserve apology to our God-given leader. He is the father of the governor of Ebonyi State. Failure to do that, we will step up our demonstration.
Beyond the moment, such perception risks undermining the credibility of his questions. Public viewers might attribute the clash to personality or theater rather than substance. For fairness, we need to take a few reflective notes on the minister's side as well, so we can balance this argument. Umahi's repeated dismissal of the presenter, "You are too small, keep quiet, you don't know," may reflect frustration. But such language from a senior public official in a live interview falls short of the decorum expected in democratic dialogue. When Oseni asked for a detailed cost explanation of the highway, the minister deflected with claims of experience rather than eliminating the matrix. In a public accountability context, refusal to delineate costs per kilometer or to clarify procurement raises questions, because you are dealing with the public. The relevance of the professorship is peripheral to the main substance or main story, which is the highway project. Yet the minister chose to emphasize defend the title aggressively, which diverted attention from substantive infrastructural accountability to personal credentials. That was unnecessary, because that was not the subject. We need to consider the wider implications and why it matters in our policy. This kind of clash signals deeper tensions in Nigeria's media official ecosystem. The role of journalists as watchdogs and officials' perceptions of being unfairly attacked. How both sides manage this interaction matters so much for transparency and trust. For citizens, big projects like the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway carry implications, which includes the land acquisition, displacement, cost escalation, and service outcomes. When public officials become defensive instead of explanatory, it erodes trust. The events may serve as a case study in journalistic training. That is how to ask tough question, but fair question, and in public administration, how to answer with transparency rather than condensation. This should be taken into consideration. The protest by Ebonyi youth against Oseni and the commentary by activists pointing at Umahi's comportment suggests that public perception is shifting. People are watching not just what is asked and answered, but how the questions are asked and questions are given, and the answers are given. Well, the on-air altercation between Rufai Oseni and Umahi did not occur in isolation. It is symptomatic of larger issues of infrastructure scrutiny, media-state relations, and professional behavior in public life as it relates to our public office holders. While Oseni's role as an inquisitive journalist is valid and necessary, his tone and framing arguably cross into antagonism, which diminish the prospect of constructive exchange. And on the other hand, the minister's responses, marked by interruption, dissension, and defensive posture, undermined the very accountability that citizens demand from him or every other public office holder. For the public good, both sides will do well to remember that what matters most is not a show of arrogance or rhetoric of conflict, but clear and factual answers delivered without disdain, and intelligent, respectful questioning delivered without provocation. The public deserve transparency, dignity, and constructive engagement in every public uh, policy. Please drop your opinion in the comment section. Thank you.